Wow. Hello, good evening, and welcome to class. And happy Sunday, everybody. This is 4 minutes after 7. Apologies for those 4 minutes. I want to start by saying welcome and thank you for being part of today's class. Okay, we'll get quickly and we'll get straight into it. If you're in class, just say hello. Okay. Timothy said hello. Timothy, you're welcome. Kathleen, did I get that pronunciation correctly? My apologies. Welcome, Sikak, you're welcome. Mr. Jonathan, you're welcome. So for others that are in class, please just indicate your presence with just hello. Okay, you're all welcome. My name is Etuk, and I'm a data analyst. And not just a data analyst, I coach data analysts. And interestingly, this evening, we're looking at a very interesting topic when it comes to data analytics. And it's also a follow-up to the series of classes we're having. So, Mr. Austin, you're welcome. Mr. Victor, Yakubu, Julius, and then Courage, Udoka, you're all welcome. As you can see, each day I'm trying to improve the number of gadgets I add. So I had to, what you do today, I just tried to see if I can have lights to improve the lighting, and it's better. And the sound, concerning the sound, the microphone, somebody said last time, why should you use white? Please, I'm working on it. I will sort that out maybe as we get going. I'm back in Lagos. I was in Port Harcourt last week for our classes. I'm back in Lagos, and so we get going. In any of the weekends you're available, Saturday, Sunday, you can meet me in our classes in Lagos for continuous discussion. Okay, so let's get to it today. I want to, on behalf of myself and the team and the community, I want to welcome everybody to class today. By the end of today's class, we should be very good when it comes to presenting data to business executives. And why this topic became an issue was I've been in boards, in meetings with business owners where data analysts come to present their discussion, and they just invite me, come sit and then listen to the presentation. And I see people do presentations, and at the end of the presentation, you see no action is taken. Sometimes midway through the presentation, everything is ignored. So what can we do as data analysts to improve our presentations to business owners? Is for us to really understand what I'm talking about. It's, for example, you buy a car and they want you to understand everything that has to do with the engine before you drive the car. At that point, you would lose interest in the car. You get so, but for we driving, we don't care to an extent what is in the engine or how it functions. We just want when you put the key and we say go, the car moves. So that's the same thing with data too. Imagine getting to a business owner and then trying to explain to the person how to drive a car. But you start with talking about the engine, talking about the injector, talking about this pipe and that pipe, and you just lose the person's interest. But instead, if you tell the person about maybe the car is the class, the speed, it's the balance, is the all other things that make it worth it, the person will quickly buy into what you have to say. So the same thing with data. So I'm getting straight to the discussion for today. Let me bring up the key points we want to look at, and we'll start with it immediately from the beginning. Okay, so you're all welcome, and give me a sec. Let me bring up the screen for our discussion. Okay, yeah. Yes, so today the topic is how to present data to business executives. That's the topic for today. So as data analysts, after we do the entire presentation, after we do the entire analysis, and we have a meeting to sit with the board, which is what you will always do. How do you present data in a way that business owners will look at your presentation and then get on with it? And to help us with this discussion today, I shared the topics into 5 simple things. Number 1 is we want to look at the 12 key points, more like things we should have as general knowledge. So whether you stay to the end of the class or not, these first 12 things are things you should do. Then secondly, we'll look at the mindset of a business executive. So if we're talking to a business executive, we must understand what is important and what is not important to the business executive. Then the third thing we will look at is we'll look at the process. So presentation is an act. There is a process you need to follow. So we'll look at that process. Then step 4, we'll pick up a case study. Then step 5 is an assignment, something you should work on. But those in my community, I think this is where they would really enjoy, because there's a project they're already working on. So let's start with the discussion for today. I intend to take an hour or less. So let's look at the 12 key points first. Always remember that the goal is to enable executives to make informed decisions quickly and confidently. So that is the aim of the presentation. The first thing is so that they can make informed decisions quickly and confidently. So they are building on your confidence, your ability to come up with insights. Then keep the focus on the business impact of the data and how it aligns with organizational objectives. So how will the data, your analysis, impact the business? That is one thing we should keep in mind. Then presenting data to business executives involves conveying complex information in a clear, concise, and actionable manner. So I added that point, actionable, because at the end of today's class, the number one thing we'll be talking about is how do we activate action. So the 12 key points, I want to run through it very quickly before we get to the other part of the discussion. Is one, in making a presentation to business executives, even if you're in sales, I am in sales also aside being a data analyst. So the first thing is to understand the person you want to present to your audience. Is it just the owner of the business, or with the team heads, or you're presenting to a team, the head and members of the team? So you must know their background and their priorities. So as an executive, what is priority to the executive? So if we come to present to an executive and we start talking about the tool, which is Excel, I used Excel to analyze this data. That is not a priority to a business executive. He's not interested. I did Power Query. I did SQL. I used Python to analyze this. No business, absolutely no business executive is interested in the tool you use for analysis. So tailor your presentation to their level of technical expertise. So when you're presenting to somebody that does not know how to use a computer, for example, you must be careful to reduce the involvement in terms of the Excel. So bring everything to PowerPoint, reduce the number of words. If the person is not very good with words or is not a grammar-friendly person, then use more of charts and just 1 or 2 words to assist your charts, so the person does not feel threatened. Number 2, define clear objectives. So from the beginning, clearly outline the purpose of your presentation. So like you see in today's class, I started by saying these are the 4 things we intend to achieve, and straight we're onto it. So clearly outline what is the purpose of your presentation. What do you aim to achieve? So specify the key insights or decisions you aim to support. So when we talk about insight and decisions, so that's the second part in the presentation. So specify it, that these are the things, the insights we're coming up with this data. Will there be recording for this? Please, 1 minute, let me see the question. Will there be recording for this training? Asking because the writings are not clear. Okay, we have said it over and over that if it is not clear, number 1, okay, I'll zoom in. But number 2, if it is not clear, it's just an issue of the way you set your YouTube and network. By default, YouTube will reduce the file size to the smallest version. So just increase the file size and the whole thing will be clear. That's number 1. Then number 2, recording. The video is always there. You can always look at it again. Okay, somebody also confirmed the write-up is not clear. Okay, I've increased the screen size. Kathleen and Ebere, please quickly confirm. Is it clear now? Okay, so while we're waiting for their confirmation, we'll proceed. Number 3, simplified complex data. So use clear and straightforward visuals like charts and graph. You get avoid unnecessary technical jargon, meaning avoid a lot of write-ups. Make it clear, make it easy to understand. Okay, Kathleen confirmed that it's clear now. Then number 4, focus on key metrics. I had a class today, and some of the students, one of the things we talked about was for every sector. If you're working in finance, if you're working in HR, if you're working in, let's say, sales, they have key metrics, if that's the data you're working on. So highlight the most relevant and impactful metrics. Emphasize KPIs aligned with business goals. So identify what is the particular metric that we use in analyzing this entire data, and then spend more time on that. When we get to the last part of today's class, which is the case study, these 12 things that we have outlined, you see us apply each of them. So I want to make us understand them before we do the application, so that when we do the application, the foundation is built already. Okay, somebody said you're okay. Somebody said my picture is blocking the presentation. So let me take off the picture then. Okay, I think it is better now. Bukola, please confirm with me that it is better now. It is, Nsikak John said, okay, please, we'll continue the class now, and it's also on replay. Let me explain it again for the benefit of those just joining us. If it is not clear, it is not a situation from this end. Are we together? It's a situation where your network, check your YouTube settings, it's reduced to the lowest. When that happens, you may have this situation, but it's not an error. Just increase the quality of your video on YouTube. Okay, so we'll go to number 5, tell a story. So structure your presentation like a narrative. Go from, I taught a storyboard last week. If you missed that class, please just check it in the previous video we did, and you will see the part where we say it should be a presentation in form of a story, that there's a beginning, there's a climax, and there is an end. So let it be a narrative, let it be a logical flow, that you move from one section to the other. Don't make a data presentation and it's a presentation on sales, and you have information on sales, on HRO, on accounts on the same dashboard. The information will just be everywhere. Okay, the next one is use visuals effectively. Choose appropriate charts for different types of data. We talked about this a lot last week, where there are charts that are very easy to understand based on the KPI. So use such charts in your presentation. Not every chart should join into the dashboard. Some charts are too complex for somebody to understand. No, the business owner is not so much interested in the charts compared to his ability to understand the insights from the charts. So the easier, the better. Then provide context, explain the significance of the data in relation to business objectives. So we also talk about business objectives. And for example, how does this data relate to increase in sales, or reduction in costs, or increase in employee engagement? You get, so you must always relate your data to one of these. Offer insight into trends, pattern, and potential impacts. Then use executive summaries. It's part of the first things you should submit. But before you start with the entire process, there's an executive summary. And number 9 says interactive elements. So add slicers. What do we mean by that? Add slicers, add clickable buttons. So they can slice through the data, they can get insights, they can move from one screen to another. Okay, then also be prepared for questions. Now, when people ask me about what type of questions will come up, I always tell them that there are 2 levels of preparation you should do before, 2 levels of questions you should anticipate. One, if you're working on finance data, for example, the business owner assumes that you understand everything about finance. So you should study finance. So don't just study the data itself, study finance. So if they ask you a question in something not directly on the data but related to finance, it is assumed that you know, you understand, you have that information. Number 2, study the industry the business is presently in. For example, if it has to do with banking and you're presenting, so aside the finance that you have studied, also study the banking sector, the business, the environment, what is happening, so that as discussions come, as questions come, you can answer them and do that confidently. And one thing, immediately your confidence is questionable, the owner of the business will not be able to take a decision. It will doubt your analysis. So always remember that when you're doing your presentation. And one of the things that will help you boost the confidence is your level of preparation. So prepare with respect to the data, 2 with respect to the industry. Then number 11, highlight actionable insights. So clearly articulate actionable steps based on the data. And actionable steps means, what do you want the business owner to do immediately after presenting this data? So every presentation must go in that format. The first thing is, what do you want the business owner to do immediately? So that is an actionable step. It clearly connects insights to potential business strategies or decisions. Then finally, number 12, practice and rehearse. So before every presentation, practice, discuss with members of your team, look for loopholes, look for different angles that the question will come from, and how to go about them. Okay, so that's discussion number 1. Let's go to discussion number 2. Discussion number 2, the mindset of a business executive. Please 1 minute, let me look at some questions. Okay, I've answered the question of not clear. Not clear is not a challenge. So let's look at the question of no voice. Somebody said no voice, sir. Please confirm with me that the audio is okay. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say loud and clear, please. For just 2 seconds. If you can hear me, say loud and clear. Okay, Christopher said loud and clear. Okay, thank you. So if you can hear me, say loud and clear. We can hear you, sir, loud and clear. Okay, so thank you very much. That means the audio is okay. So let's proceed. Let's get to the second part of our discussion for today. So thank you very much for the feedback. Okay, now the second part of our discussion today is the mindset of the business executive. We talked about this last week. So for the benefit of those that were not in class, so that's why I brought this up, but we'll not look at all, we'll just pick 3. That in presenting data to a client, a business executive, it is good you understand what is most important to that person part time. Because as long as you don't trigger that level of importance, the person may not be interested in the presentation. I've been in a presentation where midway through the presentation, the business owner got a call and just said, "Excuse me," and he left and he never came back. And I've been in a presentation where a business owner got a call and he said, "Please, I'll call you back. I'm in a business meeting." Do you get? So one simple difference is not the quality of the chart, it's not the insight. One simple difference it's when it comes to the mindset of the business executive. So when it comes to business owners, what is important to them? You must be able to understand what is important to business owners, then relate your data and your finding to this level of importance. Okay, so I'll pick 3 out of the 8 listed here. Growth. Number 2 is growth. Every business owner is interested in growth. If your presentation will help the business grow very fast, scale, there's no how the business owner will not listen to you, especially when there's no other person that has a presentation like yours. So if the presentation is telling the business owner, "Hello, sir, if by the end of is the actionable insight in the business is presently we have 2 branches. If we do this within 3 months, we will open 6 branches without increasing manpower. That is without increasing cost. If you reduce cost and you increase sales, that means you're increasing profits." Bam. If you state that as your opening, you have a business owner, you have his interest, he will definitely sit in through the presentation. The same thing too with profits. That if we do this, presently our customer base, we have 50 customers. Presently we have 500 customers. And if you check very well, the 500 customers, they are complaining, they are not satisfied with the service that is being rendered. If we do A, B, C, 2 things will happen. 1, we increase the customers from 500 to 1,000 within 1 month. 2, even the 500 that we will have, we'll cook them to the point that they will buy the products again. And that means we will increase the profits we're making. So in this presentation, I want to show you how. Do you get this? We have just gotten the attention of the business owner. The same thing too with reducing losses. That during our analysis, we discovered that spending money in item A compared to spending money in item B. When we spend money in item A, customers don't buy yet, and the profit margin is low, and we have lots of it. But if you see these other products, let's say this product A, you buy it for 5,000 and you sell it for 6,000, the profit margin is just 1,000. But it takes you like 6 months to sell one. But there's this product that is product B, you buy it for say 50 and you sell it for 10. But within a day, you sell, let's say, 5,000 of it. Do you get? From analysis, we have discovered that if you pay attention to this, you increase profits. And then there are some products too that if you do this or you do that, it will reduce losses in the business. So these are some key elements you should take note of. You must tie your presentation to 1 or 2 or 3 of these in doing presentation. So I'll get straight to the key parts of today. So this is where we start the discussion for today. Please, any question up to this point before I proceed? Let's have more space on the screen. For those complaining of the video not okay, Ruth is saying something. So Ruth is saying, for those complaining of the video not being clear, go to your settings. Thank you, Ruth. So please follow this method. Go to your settings here on this video and click on quality. When you click on quality, go to advanced and choose any of those. I use 360. Madam Ruth, thank you very much. One ice cream, one cupcake for you for this suggestion. Okay, and okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. Now we're getting to the next part of our discussion, which is, so how do I present my data to a business executive? I've done the modeling, I've done the analysis, I've done the visuals, I've done the dashboard, the recommendation, everything. How do I present it to the business owner? So my team and I, we came up with simple AIR. That is AIR. A there stands for action, I stands for insights, and R for recommendation. Follow this format. Please, if you're a data analyst, whether you're an expert or you're an entry level, please follow this impact. Follow this, this format. You will get more results. You will get more positive response from the business executive. So number one is A. Action there means at the end of the presentation, can you identify one action you want the business owner to take? So put it in a statement as a result of your analysis. For example, we can start the presentation. The action statement could be import more of products A. That is an action. Review the contracts with ABC clients. That's an action. Increase the pay of the females in the company to this percentage or to match with that of males. That is an action statement. So there should always be an action statement. And the action statement comes with an indicator. So the key performance indicator, the chart, the metrics, the most important one should back the action statement and the executive summary. So these are the three things that form the action. One, the action statement. Two, the indicator. Then three, the executive summary. I'll show us all this. Let's finish this. Number two is the insight. So the second thing is the insight. The insight there is the hypothesis, more of the questions and the answers and your findings. So in number two, we identify what are the insights. So if we have the objectives, we include them here. The hypothesis, we include them here. The questions we started with and the answers we discovered, we also put them here. Then number three, the final one, is the recommendation. This is where you come up with the suggestions and you open the floor for discussions, questions and answers, and conclusion. So these are the three parts of a business presentation. So the next section we are going into now, which is the final section for today, is where we want to talk about now how do we do this. So we'll go to PowerPoint and we'll take a full example. And after that, I'll give you an assignment to work on. But before we do that, I also want to inform us, I have a course on seller, and I have two courses presently. One is on pre-order coming up on 24th, and one is already on sale. So I want to invite you to look at this course and then get a copy of it. It's a video tutorial complete from beginning till end, where I covered everything that data analytics using Excel. The website to the course is there, www.seller.co/salesdata. So when you check the website, you will see full detail of the course outline. Then this other course, to the one that is on sale, this one is on attrition. The first one is on sales, this one is on attrition. And here I captured the different feedbacks, the responses from both students that have completed the class and students that took the course. I will encourage you, don't just learn. You also need a coach, a mentor, somebody to guide you and then say, this is the path to follow, this path is productive. So I encourage you, I invite you to get these courses. Okay, so quickly, let's get to the last part of today's discussion. So how do we create this? And I want us to use a sample case. A business owner invited us, and then he said, in August, my sales dropped. Why? That's the problem statement from the business owner. So from there, we'll build hypothesis. I taught people in class today. I had a class in Lagos, and I told them that please don't start with objectives. Hello, and I want to state it to everybody on this platform, those listening and those that will watch it later, that it is better to start with hypothesis than with objectives. Allow the entry level learners to start with objectives. It's correct. It's not wrong. It's okay, but take it a little higher and then start with hypothesis. Now, hypothesis is more like a statement that is not yet confirmed, that is not true yet. So you want to confirm that statement. Is in trying to confirm that statement that will now build objectives. So the business, let's get back to our case study. The business owner comes in and say, okay, in August, the sales in the company dropped, and I want to know why. That's just everything. And this is the data of our sales. Please look at it and then tell us what to do. In most cases, that is what you will meet. So from there, my team and I, you will now form the hypothesis. For example, you can say what is used to measure or determine what is used to determine whether sales increased or reduced in a business. So we can start from there. And one of the things that can be used to check sales is this thing called conversion rate. There are different metrics, but the one we will use in this example case is we want to check the conversion rate. So if the conversion rate is low, meaning a lot of persons did not buy, it's more like the turnover, it was low. But if the conversion rate is high, it means we had more sales. So we have established one key hypothesis there, that what is used to determine whether sales increase or reduce. So then the next thing is, what are the factors responsible for drop in sales? So is it maybe by gender or by product or by location or by site inspection or by weekly reports? From this, we have set the hypothesis, the objectives, and we have done the analysis. Now, interestingly, the analysis is one of the causes I told us about. But let's assume, we want to assume strongly that we have finished building the dashboard. So let me bring up the dashboard. So we'll look at it, then we'll get straight to now, how do we present this dashboard now to a business executive? I want to bring up the dashboard. So let me bring up the data that we want to present using. Okay, so this is the data we want to take to. We want to take this data. We want to take this data to present in PowerPoint. So for the benefit of those seeing this data for the first time, we analyze the data. The business owner gave us this data. This is the data set. So for those that bought the sales data, you have this already. So if you have not, just get it. This is the data, that the serial number, and then there is a salesperson that handled the sales, the date the phone number was given, and the week, and the sales the person paid, the status the person paid or the person has not paid, the branches, the products they have, the gender, and the inspection. This is the cleaned data. So from this data, we're able to use both correlation and other things to analyze the data and come up with all these findings, these charts. We built a lot of charts, but not all the charts came with us to the dashboard. So let me go to the dashboard. When we got to the dashboard, so this is the dashboard. So we discovered that in August, the conversion rate was 44.4. That is low. The average is 50. And we discovered that Ahmed made the lowest sale of 20. The conversion for Ahmed is 22.7. He made just 5 sales. The conversion for Ngozi is the highest, but she made 15 sales. And so you can see distributed among employees. That's number one. 2 is 225. They had 225 persons that indicated interest in the business, but they made 100 sales, 125 pending. And we discovered that the males, we had a sales of 100. Total numbers given was 101. We had 73 sales. For females, 124, 27 sales. So females, the conversion rate is 21%, and for males, the conversion rate is 72%. So one of the things we discovered here, that performance is with respect to gender. That's one. Number two, we discovered that for those that did not go for inspection, 54, we sold 6, a conversion rate of 11. For those that went for inspection, 171, 94 was sold, and a conversion rate of 15. So sales is also, conversion rate, sales is has relationship with whether the person went for inspection or not. Then concerning the products, we discovered that when it comes to people interested in residential, out of the 99, 64 bought, leading to a conversion rate of 64%. Out of the 22 that said they're interested in industrial properties, no one, they did not sell any. Then for those that are interested in commercial, out of 104, 36, that is conversion rate of 34. Then we check the weekly details that week one, for example, you see it here, let me just be fast. Out of the 29 numbers given, 15, they sold 15, leading to a conversion rate of 51%. So you can see it's spread, the conversion rate and the numbers. Then they have 2 branches, River State and Lagos State. For River State, 93 numbers, 33 sales, 35%. Lagos State, 132, 67, that's 50.8%. So this is the, then we discovered that the owner of the business should not fire anybody. That conversion rate is not with respect to staff, but is with respect to these other factors. For example, if we slice through male, we discover that the conversion rate increases to 72. But when it is female, the conversion rate reduces to 28.1. When we slice it through, whether it is residential or commercial, when it is residential, the conversion rate is 64. But when it is commercial, the conversion rate is 34.6. You can see the difference. And when it is industrial, the conversion rate is 0. That means no sale. So you can slice through this data later. When you go through all of it, you see how it affects. So one of the things that we want to report to the business owner, the action we want the business owner to do, we want to tell them that, see, your system presently is not helping you, it's not your staff, it's the system is not designed properly, your sales, your marketing system. Because if it is designed properly, one, if we know that we have more sales with male, that means our advert should target more males, not females. That's one. Number two, when we know that nobody is buying from, we have more people buying from residential, that means we're supposed to target more people in residential. Then we're supposed to educate our sales team that they should try as much as possible to get people to go for site inspection. Then we should make the numbers, if you check the distribution of numbers is not equal. Ahmed got 22 phone numbers, whereas Fumi got 49. So there is, it's not balanced the way the numbers, they distributed the numbers. And if you check, we have the highest sales on week one, but week one has the lowest number of phone numbers. That means they changed the budget for adverts within the period. So this is our first observation. That's what we want to share to the business owner. So let's go to PowerPoint and then let's build this as a presentation. So I'll pause here to take 1 or 2 questions and then we will proceed. I want to pause here to take 1 or 2 questions quickly. Please just bring in your questions while I set the PowerPoint screen. Okay, kindly share link to buy the course on sales data. I have purchased the advanced package before. I noticed that it will not be available until 24. Okay, so please, if you want the 2 courses, will there be a discount? Okay, so let me do something. If you want the 2 courses, for those of us that are in class, I'm just announcing this, and I think this is just on the spot. Mr. Victor got me on the spot. Okay, so if you want the 2 courses, for anybody that is interested in buying the two courses, so instead of the 15,000 for the 2 courses, here and now I can say, okay, fine, you can pay 10,000 naira for the 2 courses. So if you're in class and it stops this is an offer just for today. So after 12 p.m. today, the offer is no more valid. So the offer is a simple one. If you buy the course between today and the end of today, yeah, we can say just for today. Just for today, if you buy the course just for today, you get it at a discounted rate. The two courses, you get the two courses at a discounted rate of 10,000. Is that okay? I think I should ask the person that asked that question too. So for both the HRU and the advanced course. Okay, so the next question will be, okay, so what of people that have the beginner course, they just want the advanced course? Okay, it also applies. If you want to buy the any of them as in a single one, maybe you have the beginner, you want to buy the advanced course, and if you want to buy it today, you can pay 5,000, but it ends 12 midnight today. The offer will just be open and it will end by the end of today. I don't have so after the class, the portal, I'll tell the admin to just update the portal and then deactivate it for by 12 p.m. So two options. You can pay I'll make two options available. Number one, you can pay directly to my account. My account is on the screen, my GTB account. Second option is immediately after this class, admin will quickly edit the website that you can pay 5,000 naira to get the course directly from the website, but it ends 12 p.m. today. So if you're here and you don't have the course, please, you can take that offer. Okay, so let me proceed with the class. How do we make payments? Okay, I've dropped account details there and then that. So let's proceed. Let's get into PowerPoint. We have just 20 minutes remaining of our time. Okay. So I have PowerPoint open and I have this presentation to make. Now, in making this presentation, we have agreed that the format for presentation should be AIR. That's the first thing should be the action. The second one should be the insight. Then the third one should be the recommendation. So first, let's give it a title. So let me pick a title. We can take a theme quickly. Let's go to design and we can pick a theme. So good, we can pick this as our theme for the presentation. And we can say sales driven by systems. Maybe this could be the title of our presentation. I can quickly go here and I grab the logo of the business. And let me see if I can get exact copy. Good. Exact copy of the logo. So, okay. So sales driven by systems. And this entire presentation is about systems because we're telling them that the performance is not based on staff, but is based on systems. So we can pick any of these colors. Okay, this seems to be better. Okay, so sales reports for August 2023. Okay, so this is the cover page kind of. So in the cover page, what we're saying is the cover page just puts the logo of the business, then the more like the title of the movie, the title of your story. So in this case, we're not just doing a sales dashboard. We're saying that the sales should be driven by systems. You can give it any title, but let's run with this one for today's class. Then let's form part of our presentation. The first part, we want to talk about the action. So let me just title it action. The second part, we want to talk about the insights. Then the third part, we want to talk about recommendation. Okay, so these are the three things we want to look at in this presentation today. So let's start with the action. Now, the first thing we want to talk about under action, we want to look at one key thing. What action, by the end of this presentation, what action do we want the business owner to take? And one clear action we can decide now, we can say the sales system, the marketing and sales, the marketing and sales system should be reviewed. Okay, so we are designing this on the spot. I don't want to make it as if it's a pre-designed stuff, so I want us to do it together. So the marketing and sales system needs to be reviewed. The marketing and sales system should be reviewed, and since system is our key interest, we'll give it a color and just make it look different. That is our target in this presentation. And so we duplicate this. Remember, we said, sorry. So action number one is we have the marketing and sales system should be reviewed. That's the action. And I simply duplicate this, Control D. So the second one is I need a key metric to identify this. So I go to my Excel and I bring in the charts. So the most important chart in the Excel, that is what we need at this point. So I take this off, and this is the charts. So that means I need these charts to be on this type of background. Okay, let's just change these charts to this. So I can copy this, and if I place it here, it will appear better. Good. So I use this as the charts. Okay, so I hope we're following. If you have questions, you can ask. So here we can come in to say the performance. We can quickly summarize what happened in that particular period. That in August, the sales reduced to 44.4%. That's what we're reporting there. That in August 2023, sales reduced to 44.4%. By the end of this analysis and reports, we will discuss, we'll see there's not a keyword, but let me use this so that we can proceed. We will discover, okay, how to increase this to 81.8%, right? That's the number from the analysis. When you check the dashboard from the Excel sheet to 88.1%. So I will increase this font to something that can carry that particular space. So let's say about 40. So this is, remember, this is the action we want them to take, and quickly we back that action with a chart. So our interest here is the 44.1. So we highlight 88, the key indicators, we highlight 88. Okay, we also highlight 44. So if you remember the 12 things we talked about, you discover those keywords, then we also highlight the word increase. So what we mean is these are the points we want the business owner's attention in our presentation. So let's look at the insights. Yes, then the executive, the third thing now in the insights is the executive summary. So I bring the executive summary here. So executive summary. So the executive summary is more like in this entire presentation, what is it that we intend to do? So in this first part, we intend to, what do we intend to do within this presentation? So let's reduce this to say 28. So one, we want to look at the performance is based on the system. Then two, we look at the factors that are responsible for performance. And we'll also look at how to increase performance from 44.4 to 81.8. So what are we doing now? So in essence, we're saying this is how the discussion will go, so that from the beginning, it's more like the outline. So we're telling the business owner that, okay, immediately we look at, from this point, first we want to look at the performance. The performance is based on the system, yes. Then two, want to look at the factors that are responsible for the performance. Then we want to look at how to increase the performance from 44.4% to 81.8%. Okay, quickly, let me take questions. I'm seeing a lot of questions on the platform. Oh, sorry for not answering your questions. Let's go pay into the account number. Okay, so let's go. So after payment, what next? Okay, after payment, let me drop my phone number. So this is send the receipts to this phone number. Thank you for that question. After payment, just send the receipts to this phone number, and you'll be added to details of the entire course will be sent to you. Okay, so after payment, what next? Okay, so this is the account number. This is the phone number, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so you can just copy the phone number, and more questions can come in after that. Okay, so that's the phone number. I've sent the account number already. If you don't have it, please just check the discussion. You'll see the account number. After payment, just drop it here and you'll be added to the group. You'll be told what and what to send to add you to the group. Okay, so let me quickly answer one or two questions, then we proceed. Kindly share the link to buy the course. I've done that. Somebody said, sir, I'm interested in the two courses. Okay, we've passed that, how do we make payment? Based on the gender sales, are we now saying management should target more male, knowing fully well that buying properties may not be gender based? How about suggesting more advert placed? Okay, so let me bring up the questions. Hope we have the number, the phone number. If you don't have the okay, so please copy the phone number because I want to bring up the questions. Let's quickly look at the questions. So Paula said, based on the gender sales, are we now saying management should target more male, knowing fully well that buying properties may not be gender-based? How about suggesting more adverts be placed on the site? So thank you. This is where, when we get to recommendation, we'll build all this. But we are saying that, in data analytics, we say we work based on the data, based on the facts. So from what the data that we have is showing that the conversion rate for the males is higher compared to the female, meaning it will cost them more to get a female to buy compared to what it will cost them to get a female to buy. So it will cost them more to get a female to buy compared to what it will cost them to get a male to buy. So they should focus more on males. But in our recommendation, we'll say something about the females. Okay, next question is where there are more female traffic, see, okay, where there are more female traffic and see the performance. Yeah, so we also recommend that they should do certain things to get females on board, but they should pay more attention to males. Almost all businesses, there's interest in what is called conversion rate. So the team will always look at where do we have a higher conversion rate. Okay. What is the next question? Are you doing PowerPoint into Excel sheet? Are you doing PowerPoint into Excel sheet? Now, I think the other way to answer this question is when you analyze your data with Excel or with SQL or with Tableau or with Python. I know Tableau has PowerPoint with it. So when you analyze your data, please, it is not your Excel or your dashboard that you present as the first thing to your clients. It's one of the things you will present, but you need to use a presentation tool to get the story out first. Then you use your maybe Excel or Power BI or SQL or any other software to now back up your presentation. So your presentation tool comes first. In this case, we're using PowerPoint. There are other tools you can use. Okay. Just made payment for the tools. Getting the advanced course. Thank you. Okay, somebody say just made payment for the tool. Thank you very much. Alex, yeah, yes, a certificate of completion is available. Yes, that's true. Please, can I get the sales course for the discount price since I already got a beginner course? Yes, we said if you want to get only one of the courses for today, it ends by 12 midnight today. You can get it for 5,000. If you're buying the beginner course, 5,000. If you're buying the advanced course, 5,000. Let's settle on that. Is that okay? Okay, so let's proceed with our work for today. We have limited time, so let's get back to the discussion. Now we're presenting the reports. With this, we have finished the first part called the action. So hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, sir. This is my presentation that we're looking at sales driven by systems. We're not looking at individual performance. So we're looking at for us to proceed with this presentation and for you to get the best results, you need to review your marketing and sales system. So why I'm proposing this is because we discovered that there is a drop in sales performance to about 44.4%. And when we analyze your data, we discovered that there are some factors that were responsible for this decrease. And we discovered that if we work on these factors, we will also increase your performance to 81.8%. So in this presentation, one, I want to make us to understand the factors. Then two, I'll show you how to increase the performance from 44 to 88. This is what is called the opening of your presentation. Please, I beg you in the name of anything you believe in, don't start your presentation by mentioning the tools you use in your analysis. No, it is extremely wrong. For example, somebody can say, thank you for giving us your data. We use SQL to do the analysis, and then we use Power BI. In Power BI, we have to use some statistical tool to go through the data. Sorry, that presentation will not go anywhere. That is the worst way of presenting data to a business executive. When you're presenting to your team members, you can do that, but to business executives, no. So that's number one. Number two, let's go to the insights. Now, in the insights, what did we discover from the data? One, we discovered that there's something called gender, that in gender, if we work on the male, sales will increase. That's one insight. Number two, we discovered that if we work on the product type, that the sales will increase. And what is the product that customers they buy a lot? Is residential. Number three, we also discovered that people that go for inspection, if we focus on getting more people to go for inspection, we will increase sales. This is what we call insight. If you check this presentation up till this point, we have not been to Excel. We have not done anything in Excel. So this is how presentation should be. This is the insights now we're talking about. So you can factor in the insights. I'm highlighting the key points that I want them to pay attention to in this presentation. So when we check through the Excel, remember I had to go through the Excel briefly for us to see. We discovered that three things. The chart, if you check, we reviewed 5 factors. Out of the 5 factors, we discovered that 3 things are usable. The other 2, we ignore them. The 3 things, number one, we discovered that there's something called gender. That in the gender, when it is male, the conversion rate increases to 70-something. When the product, when it is residential, the conversion rate increases to 60-something. When it is inspection, the conversion rate increases to 50-something. So this is what we want to show them now. So to present this, we'll take it one after the other. So let's start with the first one. Let's say if we take it, the first insight by gender, we simply go to the Excel and then take one of the charts that talks about gender. In this case, let me quickly do this. Let me take this, for example. And I come to my PowerPoint and I paste here. Good. So I have this chart. We can fine tune it later, but because of time, I'm trying to run with time and what is available. So let me bring this down. Okay. So we have this as our first presentation. That we discovered that when it is male, the conversion increases to 72. Female, it is 28. Okay. Our second finding has to do with residential. So in residential, the same thing. Let's get to the data. And let's get information about residential, the products. Okay. So please, when you're working on this, you can fine tune this better. You can take time. This one we have limited time, so I'm avoiding a lot of things. Okay, so we have a chart here telling us that this happened, and then the last one in our insight is the one that has to do with the inspection. So bring up this, and we bring inspection to this point. Okay. Yes. So normally in your dashboard, you can have up to 5, 6, 7 charts, no problem, but not all will make their way to the presentation. Because I told somebody today, if I have a 1-hour presentation to make before a board, I'll present only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then allow for discussions and questions. Because when it becomes too long, it can be boring. Okay, so the second part of our presentation, which is the insights, what did we discover? One, when it is male, we can increase the conversion rate to 72 compared to female. So more male buy compared to female. Number 2 is products. That's residential. If we get more, get more people to the residential product, we will sell more compared to commercial and industrial. Then we also tell them they should look into this industrial product that is not producing sales. So let them check within the period. Then the third one is inspection. So we discover that those that go for inspection will likely buy. So we'll tell them that when they train their marketing team should try and convince their clients, maybe add a reward system where people go for inspection. Okay, then the last part will now be the recommendation. So based on all this, what do we recommend? I'll just do a copy and paste here because of my time. My time is already 8 o'clock. So we can do some recommendations following this analysis. And the recommendation is simple. Other things that we can add in the insights, we can show them what happens when we slice the data further. So the software is not showing, but let me quickly slice the data by residential, by those that go for inspection. And if I capture the screen at this point and paste here, let me bring the screen to us so that we'll see what just happened. If we paste this here, okay, so this will still be part of the insights. Let me D on this and take this off and bring this one down to this point. Yeah, so the summary of the insights is this. So you can see that when we slice the data through mail and through inspection and through products and through residential, the conversion rate increases from 44 to 88. So that is the conversion, and that is the insight we got from this analysis. There are other things on correlation, but because of time, I will not go through all that. So let me quickly just grab this as a recommendation and paste it. So in the recommendation, permits me to just take one recommendation because of time. So the recommendation, just summarize it, that one, there should be equal distribution of numbers. That's one of the things we recommend to the business owner. I can increase this to get more space. Okay, I hope the screen is clear enough. I want to quickly run through this. So one of the things we can recommend that there should be equal distribution of numbers. So some persons should not have 20 and some persons 40. Then the advert should target more males. And then they should look at how to encourage more females to buy. Maybe give discounts to husbands that come in with their wives, or females. They should have special discounts. Then they should sponsor male-dominated events. They should reward people that go for inspection. And then they should do training for their sales team. That members of the sales team focus on people that are interested in getting residential properties. It's faster when you sell to such persons. And then focus more on males, and also get people to go for inspection. Then you create the room for questions. Then you create the room for questions and answers. So let's just put this as a Q&A section where people can now ask questions and then come up with answers. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was a long one, but thank God we kept to time, 1 hour. Yeah, I think we have done noble with this discussion on how to present data to executives. Okay, at this point, let's drop the questions. People are asking about the account number and the phone number. I'll drop them later, but please let's finish the main discussion first. I'll come back to that. Somebody said, what if after the summary PowerPoint presentation, the client wants to see how you were able to arrive at this? Will you have to bring out the process data to show up? Yes, Mr. Timothy, thank you for that question. So yes, now at the point where the questions will start the discussion, your PowerPoint will come up. Number one. Two, at the point where you're talking about your insights, that's where your dashboard comes in. So when you say, okay, the total says, like if you check, I just did a screen grab and dropped on PowerPoint because the software we're using for this presentation, we can't run two softwares at the same time. So during your presentation, when you get to the insights, now in discussing the insights, that's where you call up your tool, whether it be Python or Tableau or PowerPoint or Excel. At that point, you display it, you show the insight, you slice the data, and then the feedback comes with it. What? Okay. Which other question again? Do you want the? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So please, further question. Any other question? We have covered the topics for today with this. So I'll just quickly take questions and questions. For those asking about the account details, okay, this is the account details. You can still get the course. Like we said, this offer is just open for my own way of saying thank you for joining the class today. So just open between now and then 12 p.m. You can get the two courses for just 10,000. But if you bought one, maybe the beginner, you want to buy the advanced, you can get it for 5,000. Or you bought the advanced, you want to buy the beginner, you can get it for 5,000. Okay, yes. Question, I'll give just 2 minutes for questions and then we'll get going for today. So, what thinking that they were? Okay. So, Kereke John, I did not really get the question. Okay, questions about the courses, please. I may not really bring them to the screen. You can just ask in the discussion section, and we'll attend to you there. Okay, so that's the account number if you want to get the course, and this is the phone number. Please, after buying the course, please just send your name, your name and email, or just say hi on WhatsApp to this my line. Just do that so that you can be added to the class. Then, like I said, later the portal will be open between now and 12 p.m. So you can also buy the course via the portal. Okay, I want to assume that we are all okay with the class for today. Thank you very much. The video is always there. You can always watch them later. Please also remember to like and subscribe. One of the ways you can also encourage me to do more of these tutorials is to also share, let's grow the network. You can invite others. You can talk about it. You can also say, no, what we discussed is not correct. Then come up with your ideas. Let's reason together. Let me also learn from you. And then also come up with suggestions. Also do write-ups. Talk about me on different platforms. Where you can also suggest that I can help in one or two areas. And if you're looking at learning data analytics, you want to learn physically, you want to attend my class physically, I have a class, I have classes in Port Harcourt and in Lagos, but presently I'm in Lagos, and we are 38 Unity Road. That is off Toyin in Ikeja, Lagos. We have classes Sunday to Sunday. We have weekday Monday to Friday, and we have weekend Saturday and Sunday. You can attend any of the physical classes. You can also chat me, and I'll give you details about the class also. But if you don't want to attend the class, you want to attend online class, we also have online classes. You can chat. Then if you don't want to attend online class and you don't want to attend a physical class, you prefer a course, just to buy a course and study at your pace, I also have a course. That's the one that we're giving a discount today for 5,000 Naira flats. Okay, so on that note, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining today's class. What we'll do is next Sunday, there's another class. Remember, we hold this class every Sunday. For now, we'll hold this class every Sunday. As long as you all continue to support me in every way you can, even by clicking the subscribe button. That is a big support. As long as we do that, we'll continue to hold these classes. So this is the link to the course. If you're buying the advanced course, you can click on seller and you can get the advanced course. Or if you want to get the beginner course, you can get the beginner course using these other websites, but they are all on the same platform. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ruth said very insightful. God bless you. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much and good night, everybody.